Welcome to CES 2026 Watchroom. We bring together top leaders in the tech world to share their key points on trends driving our future. This is Victoria. Today's session is called The Chips That Shape Tomorrow. We will dive into the semiconductor breakthroughs powering today's gadget and refining AI, connectivity, and global resilience. Joining us online is Anthony Lei, Vice President of Marketing from Macronix America. Hi, Anthony.
Hello, how are you? Thanks for having us. Appreciate it. Looking forward to CES 2026. We have a lot to talk about. Very exciting time this year.
Talk about CES. It's full of surprises every year, products that wow us and tech that suddenly feels real. So if we ask folks to name the most vital chip in daily life, some might pick the processor in their phones or memory in the car's system. So from your point of view, what's one overlooked component that's key to modern life?
Well, it's definitely the flash memory, which Macronix is the leader in. So if you look in the system, every system starting from the big TVs that you see at CES, all the way down to the small AR glasses, the cars, they all require flash memory, right? And as the long-term memory, when you turn out the power, the memory is still there, all right?
Okay, so that's a solid point. Memory truly is the quiet hero of electronics. So companies have pushed their tech for decades to match innovation. So you've been in this game for a long time. So since then, how has the focus, we want to ask, that the memory changed over the past 30 years?
Yeah, interesting. I started back in AMD years in 1992. That's when, Flash really started taking off. Before that, you had memories like E squared and stuff. But Flash itself has really changed. It's become like this piece that's always been required, starting with the PC industry, moving all the way out to all these components that, these electronics that I've talked about in every single year at CES. But the changes itself is really about getting larger density, faster parts out there. And like you said, the flash part is kind of the underlying hero in a lot of these, systems, right? Electronic system, right? So, and it's been able to keep up with the needs, right, of all these industries, going from consumer electronics all out to automotive, now driven by AI, right? And there's most recently, the biggest bottleneck is the memory part, and that's what we've been working on right now with a lot of the key players out there, right? How do we get our components to be able to meet the next 5 years, right? In
Okay,
Flash.
in that case, so what does that mean for Macronix mission for today?
Where we are with AI, we are on the data center side, the server side, okay? Very fast devices, much larger densities than you would ever expect. Those things will also accelerate. They'll continue on, and we work with, all the big names out there to make sure that, our devices can meet the needs of not just their needs, but also the end customers like yourself.
Okay, so before we zoom in of Macronix, so we would like to talk about CES. So what's one innovation that made you think this is the future, especially in CES 2026?
The big push to me has been miniaturizing AI, right? Everyone has been talking about the NVIDIAs, the AMDs, in terms of, the large data centers and cloud compute, right? Being able to learn everything. That's great. But nowadays, I think the next 5 years, you're going to see devices that in the past, they seem smart, but they're going to be much smarter. They'll be able to predict what you want or how you want things like thermostats, cameras. You're starting to see that with like Alexa and Google, right? Being able to do that. So I think miniaturizing AI down to the edge, what we call edge AI, right? Is key. And that's the other innovation that, I'll talk a little bit later about where we're going with the edge devices.
So Macronix, I think you're demoing some cool stuff here. So can you share what you're showcasing at CES 2026 and how does it tie into your mission?
Yeah, I mean, our mission has been, again, to meet uh, end customer requirements. So if you look at, 5, 7 years ago, we came out with a device called the OctaFlash. And we knew AI was coming, and the requirements of that is much larger densities, much faster speed, and the devices will get smarter itself. So OctaFlash right now is being used in a lot of these AR glasses, used definitely in automotive for sure, smarter devices. So that's the current situation. But I think in the future, if you look, our memory will get smarter. We're adding search capabilities within our memory. So if you think about AI, what it is just, really smart searches, right? And if we can add that to our memory, then the system runs much faster, real time, and be able to run at even lower power, right? So for faster performance as well as lower power.
Could you give us some real cases that go into the real world, like in different scenarios that you co-work with your partners?
Yeah, so we have been working with some partners. We're gonna have a demo where there's a system that they're planning to put into, again, AR glasses, right? So you've heard from Google, Apple, they're all kind of working towards those. Also, a lot of these, Chinese companies out there, they're looking at even, lower cost type solutions. So basically democratizing AR glasses for everyone. Because right now, if you look at a lot of these AR glasses, they're $1,000, $2,000, and we have to get to a point where those components have to come down, right? And so that will take time. And so, we are working with some partners with much lower power and much faster systems, right?
Good. So one thing about Macronix we would like to talk about is quite different because actually we're having our own factory. You control everything from start to finish. So how does owning your own factory like make you quickly develop and deliver those specialized memory chips like NOR flash, NAND flash, at the eMMC storage we all use in phones and cars?
Yeah. Our CEO, if you ever talked to him of our company, and chairman, he has always wanted to have a company that does everything, right? From start to finish. That's number one, but it allows him to control quality, right? So he always leads with quality. So the whole company is all about quality and service. Okay. So when you have your own fab, what you can do is you can invest heavily into R&D, which we do. So if you look at our patents, we have over 6,300 patents, and we continue to add to that. A lot of the other companies, they had, it's very difficult for them to invest in R&D and come up with their own patents. They have to work with foundries, right? But with us, we control that aspect of it. Okay. We can go into different researches. So we've looked at different type of technologies to determine, hey, what works best for our end customers. Okay. So that's number one. R&D is key. As markets shift, we can shift very quickly. We can move from NOR to NAND flash very quickly, depending on demand. NOR has been around much longer than NAND. Okay, so NOR is one of those storages that allows the device to read like infinite reads. Okay, so you can read the device over and over again, like what we call ROM. And you can write to the device up to, let's say, 100,000 cycles. Okay. And you can do things like random access reads, where if you're a code writer, that's great because you can write code to be able to kind of jump around. Okay. So NOR is used mainly what we call as like a booting device, right? To start up a system. Okay. NAND, on the other hand, is what we call data storage solution. All right, so this is where you store your maps, pictures, etc., and that's where NAND plays very well in. Okay, and so the big difference is NAND tends to be much higher density, but less reliable. Okay, so In data storage, you can kind of mask out the, data integrity with things like ECC and software. Okay. In NOR, typically, these are devices that go in, cars and data centers. They have to be highly reliable. So when the system boots up, you cannot have a system not boot up, right? So that's where those are the major differences. And eMMC is what we call managed NAND solution. So it's NAND with a controller, and these devices are great because you can plug them to a system, and they're pretty standard. The processor, it doesn't have to deal with a lot of the management of NAND. Okay, so typically a NAND, the processor has to manage it. Okay, when I say manage it, like manage the reliability. Where in MMC there is a controller inside, and that manages the reliability, and that's even much higher density because you're stacking multiple NAND within an eMMC. Those are really the huge benefit that we have. And then you have longevity customers like automotive, data centers. Okay, they require parts that are can be running for 10 plus years, right? And we have to be able to provide those products to them long term, right? And so overall, it's a total solution play for the end customer, right? Being able to provide service, quality, and reliability.
Our life changed with AI, so does your industry. So from your experience, since you've working decades in this industry, looking ahead, how will semiconductors reshape daily life in the next decade?
One of the things that Min has been very proud of is the fact that he actually brought big data AI into the fab, from the very beginning, right? So he's been able to add a lot of intelligence, and this is before we called it AI, into the fab. Okay, and that's where again he's able to get very high quality, products come out of our fab. I think everything is driven by semiconductor, right? If you look at AI, where it's going, even quantum compute, where it's going, semiconductor is really at the heart of all the innovations and the change, right? That's coming down. So again, it requires an entire ecosystem, especially with us working with the processors that are out there, and also some of the other memory companies like the DRAM companies, right, to be able to come out with solutions that meets everyone's needs, right? Demand out there, I'll tell you, in the next 5 years is hard. We are driven by our customers to come out with faster products, smarter products.
Okay, thank you very much, Anthony, for spotlighting how Macronix drive global demands while pushing limits. Memory and manufacturing are front and center now, paving the way ahead. So good luck to CES 2026, good luck to your show, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us in this CES 2026 Watchroom session. Stay tuned for more conversations with leaders and innovators who are shaping the next era of technology. Until then, thank you and goodbye.